Hello, hello, hello. How's it going, everyone? It has been a little while since I've done one of these, yap sessions, if you will. But I thought I would go on ahead and do an updated Overwatch 2 tier list for Season 16. It's been a little bit now since the season kicked off, and I feel like I have a fairly decent idea of where things stand. Now, to make it clear, I'm a metal rank player. I'm not like, super knowledgeable or experienced, so obviously it's just my personal opinion. You know, take with that what you will, and feel free to, let me know down below if you have any thoughts of your own. I'm always open to hearing out what you got. So, this is for 5v5, this isn't for 6v6. I'm not sure if I'm going to do one for 6v6 because I haven't really been playing a whole lot of that lately. And if anything, maybe I'll do one for Stadium down the road, but, without further ado, let's go on ahead and just jump right into it. So, starting off, we got Tracer. Tracer S tier, pretty easy for me. I mean, I don't think I really need to explain a whole lot. Tracer is just very, very consistently like strong, and she has such a high skill ceiling, but also high skill expression. If you get really good at this hero, you can just absolutely dominate lobbies. And even though she got a nerf to her major perk where you recall and get your blinks back, she's still just really, really good. Just consistently one of the best DPS in the game for several seasons on. So that's all I really got for Tracer. She's just a star. Reaper, I think Reaper is like okay. I'm gonna give him a C tier. I might be being a little harsh. I don't feel like Reaper's that crazy. Like I do still see a fair amount of Reaper, for busting up tanks and just outputting raw damage, but I don't know. Reaper just isn't really hitting that hard. Also, you have to forgive me. It's allergy season, so apologies in advance for like any sniffles or whatnot. But anywho, Reaper, I don't really feel like he's that great. I could just be being harsh, but like I think situationally though, if you're playing like a hyper rush comp or like maybe even some kind of brawl comp, he could be okay. Um, I just think he's really dealable. Like you can deal with him honestly fairly easily, so I'm gonna give him a C tier. Widow, I think I have to give her a low A. I think Widow's actually like kind of strong. Um, it is a bit map dependent with Widow. Like she's really good on like Havana, uh, Junkertown, Circuit Royale. Those are her maps where she's always just gonna pop off. You're not gonna really see her do as well on like Flashpoint or a good amount of control maps. She'll probably struggle much more. The other thing also is obviously we have hero bans now, so we'll have to factor that in. Widow does get banned a pretty fair amount on her maps. Outside of that, usually not so much. I think that Widow, is just fairly strong. If you're a good Widow player and you can hit your shots, you can definitely take over the game. She is a little more survivable with the HP increase that has helped her. Um, that being said, I don't think she's like meta because there are still some things that keep her in check. Um, but if you do ban like Sombra, which is like a perma ban these days, or if you ban like Ball, um, she can have a really really strong time. So I give her an A. Um, Next up is Farah. I actually think Farah is insanely good. Farah is really really good right now. I think that she has two good minor perks now. You could go either way, whether you want moving barrage or you want the shield health for more survivability. The health converted to shields, I should say. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like Farrah's just really good. She's just really strong, and she can be very oppressive in the right hands. Obviously, having a mercy pocket's great, but you don't even need the mercy pockets. It kind of takes me back to when she was near meta in season 10, season 11, like late 10, early 11. But kind of like with Widow, there are some things that keep her in check. I mean, Sojourn's insanely strong, and Sojourn's really good against flyers. But also, hit scan in general is pretty good. Like, Widow's pretty good, Ashe is good, Cass is good. So, Pharah is not, like, insanely, like, over the top as of now, but she's very, very good. Really strong, just a great duelist, and can just output a lot of damage. So definitely gonna give her like a really high notch of A tier. Rhine, Ryan's pretty good. I don't think he's like strong. I don't think he's great, but I think he's really good. I think that his perks, the ones they've changed, have definitely improved his kit overall. I think he's definitely able to keep up with some of the other tanks now. The fiery uptake one, where when you get a stun, you get a fire strike, which can overfill to an extra one to have three. So if you get like a three-man shatter, you get three fire strikes. It's really cool. It's really fun, and I think that it's definitely helped with Ryan. Because I think what kind of held him back was the fact that his purchases really weren't that great. Excuse me. So I'm definitely going to give him a shout on B. However, I do think that some of the other tanks are just a bit stronger, just kind of overall, than Ryan is, and that's really like kind of the only thing that separates him. I don't think Ryan's bad in any way. I think he's a really good tank right now. Mercy, Mercy, this is kind of a tough one. I'm gonna give her like a C tier. I think that she's kind of situational, but I don't think she's bad. I don't think she's bad at all, and I think that the new perk to give you overhealth after res is actually kind of good. But I'm just thinking of like what supports really give the most impact, and Mercy obviously her impact is most felt when she pockets a really good DPS, like a really good Sojourn, a really good Pharah, a really good Cass, or Ashe. Um, that's where like Mercy shines. Um, that being said, I don't think that Mercy's bad. I think that good Mercy players can still do a great job of just being unkillable and surviving a lot. Um, Gosh, these allergies. I hate allergy season. My apologies again. I think that, yeah, Mercy, I'm going to give her a C tier overall. I think that she's okay. I just, I usually kind of like flip and flop between B and C with Mercy. Just kind of depends on how the meta is. And I think that currently supports that can dish out like a good amount of damage or debuffs are just a bit more viable than ones that can do a lot of healing or that can pocket. Torb. So hear me out, call me crazy. I'm gonna throw Torb in the S tier, like low S, but I actually think Torb is really strong. I actually see a lot of Torb. Torb, even though he did get that nerf to his turret last season, is still just really damn good. Um, he's amazing anti-dive with both the turret being able to be placed anywhere and the fact that you can level it up to level 3 when you overload. So if you time that right, your turret is insane anti-dive. It's great against Winston, it's really good against Hazard, it's really good against Doomfist, it's pretty damn good against Ball. And yeah, just Torb, like, he's very tanky, he's got great survivability, he does good damage, and he's really great against flankers. He's really good against Tracer and Sombra. He's pretty decent against Genji, so I think that I think Torb is in a really strong spot. Just the more I've thought about it, the more I feel that like Torb is always teetered between high A, low S, and I think Torb right now has snuck into low S. I think he's actually like really, really good. So might be a bit of a hot take, but I'm gonna give that to him. I'm gonna give that to him. Next up is Hanzo. Hanzo is a little better. He was really bad last season. Just felt like ass to play. Still kind of feels like ass to play, but he does have some buffs. He can hold down his bow progress while climbing walls, and his storm arrows go a little faster. But I'd rather they buff the storm bow or just buff the base arrows. I want them to give him just the bigger projectile back so you can feel the satisfaction of hitting things, but get rid of the one shot. That's a fine trade off. He's going to get a C tier. I think he's okay. He's situational still, but he's okay. He's not D tier anymore, but it's really the most I can give him, and that might be being generous. So that's all I really got for Hanzo. Winston definitely took a heavy-handed nerf from the armor reduction. 50 of his armor got converted to base health at the start of the season, and I was trying to not overreact too much. I think a good placement for him, in my opinion, is low A. So he's gonna get an A tier, but he does go down from like high A, low S, even mid S before the ult nerf last season. So yeah, Winston. The big thing for him is he just doesn't have the same survivability. He can get bursted down much easier. So like Diva is much better against Winston now. Hog, who's already good against Winston, is even better against him now. So yeah, for Winston, it's just he's still good. He's still got great dive capabilities, and he's still just a really good tank to play with. But it is a little harder for him to get the same value now. Zen. I'll give Zen like a B tier, like mid high B tier. I think that he's pretty good, but I don't think he's crazy. It's kind of the same old story as always. Like Discord is really huge. It's a insane debuff, but Zen himself is really diveable. He's very killable. He's squishy. The glass cannon trade off. So that's kind of the whole like spiel with Zen. He hits hard, but he can get hit hard. So I give him a B tier. I'm also gonna give a B tier to Bastion. I think Bastion's actually kind of good. I think that Bastion's actually in like one of the healthiest places I've seen him in, because the thing with Bastion is if you make him too strong and he's meta, he feels like it's ass, but he also like can feel like just completely weak or underhanded, or what's the underwhelming? I think is what I meant to say. Um, but Bastion, I actually think that he's pretty good. I think that he does a good job of consistently, whittling down barriers in util. I think that he also like has better survivability with the self heal perk, but it isn't too crazy now because now there's a resource meter on it. The only thing though that really keeps me back from even thinking of giving Bastion any higher of a rating is the fact that his hitbox is so ginormous. He's very killable. He's terrible against long ranged heroes. And then people up close, even if he doesn't have shift, I mean, they're going to win. Like Reaper, even Sim can beat him. Sombra can beat him. So, yeah, he's going to get like a B tier. I think he's kind of good. Also, someone I think is actually pretty good is Sim, speaking of. I'm going to give her like the highest end of B. I think Sim has actually gotten much better than I thought she would be. I had originally thought of just putting her in C tier because she's still a bit situational and map dependent. But the perks, the one where I think it's if you're on your teleporter you heal, that's crazy. And the extra turrets too can be insane, especially on her maps. I think that Sim honestly is a really good backup pick. I see people picking for Diva if Zarya gets banned. So Sim actually, and she doesn't get banned that much. I don't see Sim banned a whole lot, so she's actually become almost like a second Zarya, basically. It's kind of funny. But yeah, I think that Sim hits hard, but she also is like fairly killable. Good brawl tanks can kind of put her out of the wind really easily. Like Ram, a good Ram can take care of her. Um, and There's another tank that can. It's either Rhine or maybe Mauga. I'm kind of like brain farting, but yeah, she's really good when she gets that high charged beam and does her thing. She's really strong, but there is a bit of setup required for it, and it's not something you can just pick and do every single game. So I give her like a solid B, very high B. Zarya, probably going to be the first S tier tank. I think the Zarya just has to get a nod to S tier, because she gets banned a lot. She's probably, if not Ball, the most banned tank currently, from my experience. With Zarya, she's just really, like, she's just juiced. Like, her perks are really good, and if you get a Zarya to 50 energy at least consistently, she just melts your team. She's really hard to stop unless you have really good dive to go after her backline, like a Winston. Or if you want to take her on up front, you need a really good, like, Ram or Rhine player. And even then, it's not a guarantee. So yeah, Zarya is just insane. She's been really strong virtually all of season 15, still is really strong in season 16. I think that the Zarya like meta ish, if you will kind of fade over time, but I don't think we're there yet. So she gets banned quite a bit. I'll give her an S tier. I think she's really, really dang good. Cass. I think Cass is pretty strong. Ever since they gave him the fall off range back, the old fall off range, he's much better against flyers and people at range. And he's already a great duelist. Like, he can take duels really, really well. He's kind of tanky. They made his perks a little better. So, but the scary thing also with Cass is they buffed his right click damage. He deletes tanks. Like, golly, if you can hit your right clicks and if you pick the freaking right click perk, we can fire one at a time, one after another. He literally shreds tanks. I had a Cass on my team shred a over half HP Roadhog, so that's like 400, 500 health. He shredded him in 1 round or 2 rounds, maybe tops, of right clicking. Cass is really strong. I actually think he's close to S tier, kind of like Pharah, but I don't think he's quite there yet. And I think the big thing also keeping him in check is Sojourn, because Cass is not terrible against Sojourn, but Sojourn just has the edge. She's got the edge, just straight up. So I give him A tier. I think he's really strong. Someone I don't think is as strong, and this is unfortunately going to be the first D tier, is Soldier. I feel so bad because I actually like Soldier. He was my original main, like the first hero I really played, other than maybe Reaper. He just isn't that good. He's just not good. He's outclassed in every shape and form by Sojourn to start, and I know I shouldn't like do a whole lot of hero comparisons, but it's hard not to. I mean, the only reason you would pick Soldier is maybe if Sojourn gets banned. But Sojourn, if she doesn't get banned, she's better than Soldier in every facet. Soldier doesn't have really great perks. He has okay perks, but they fall very behind. His presence and impact is just lacking. It doesn't feel really felt. And he's just, it's kind of like Reaper, but a little worse. He's just easy to deal with. Tac Visor can be a good ultimate, but there's so many ways to deal with it. If you have a good D.Va player, it's GG. Your ult's useless, and it's just kind of tough for Soldier. I'm not sure what would help him. To be honest, I am not sure what, but I think perk changes would be a good start. But that's all I can really think of. But poor Soldier. Lucio, Lucio is strong. Lucio is pretty great. I'm happy to say. He's going to be on the lower end of A, but I think he's just, I just don't think you can't deny his viability and his usefulness with his utils. Speed boost and beat is a great ult. I think his perks are better. The one where you can amp it up automatically when you pop beat, I think is really good. And then Boop is also, a strong ability too. Boop. Certain maps like Lijiang and Rialto are going to be like, Rialto. Rialto actually can work good for Lucio, but I'm trying to think of the other one. What is it? Oh my gosh, what is it? It has the Helios. Helios. That's the one I was originally trying to think of with the well. Yeah, Lucio, I think is I think he's great. I think that he, a number of people get the misconception that he isn't that good because he doesn't do a lot of healing, but Lucio's value doesn't just come from heals. It comes from your speed boost, from your boops, from your beats. So, and also being hard to kill by wall riding. So, just to point that out there. Okay, be so real with you. This hero I think is so slept on. Roadhog is actually going to get it like a high A. I think Roadhog actually is super, super good. And before you call me crazy, here's why I think so. First off, the new minor perk you got, Pent Up, is insane. Anytime someone triggers your pig pen, you get half of your vape automatically filled. But here's the kicker, it can overfill. So if your vape is full, you get another half meter on the side. So 1.5 meters of vape. That's not only extra healing, but that's extra damage reduction. So that's a lot better sustain. So Hog is a lot harder to kill. And on top of that, they buffed his major perk, Hydrogen Exposure. so you can heal your teammates easier. And I'm not even joking with you. When you get to that point where you have that major perk, you can get Whole Hog like every fight. I'm not even joking. Like, Whole Hog already got buffed where you can get it quicker, and now you get it even faster because you heal your teammates a lot. You can do more healing. So I think Hog is actually insane. I think Hog is nearly S. I'm not going to throw him in S right now, but I think Hog is very, very strong and is very underrated. He still has the one shot. He still has, the good maps. And, now he's got better survivability, gets his ult much quicker, like literally every fight. It's nuts. And so excuse me. So sorry, I'm lurking something. There's an exciting fight going on in the background. I'm watching some Overwatch gaming happening. Okay, anywho. Yeah, I think that Roadhog is crazy. And on top of that, Malga isn't very good this season. And if you ban Ana, your biggest, check and balance, which is, getting purple and getting slept, is out of the game. And you're kind of free to roam. So yeah, I think Hog is very, very strong. Very underrated. Junkrat. Junkrat is okay. I'm gonna give him like a high C, because I do think that he has usefulness. I think that he obviously can hold chokes down really, really well. I think that some of his perks are kind of good, like Far Trap and Speedy Tire, and even the one with a concussion mine's okay. Um, Junkrat, kind of in his nature, can be a little chaotic and can deliver strong results through just raw damage output or good tires. However, the thing that I always unfortunately have to bring back to Junk is when people like Pharah and Echo are really strong, he is not going to be as strong, especially Pharah in the case, because Pharah is easier to play than Echo. When Pharah is really good, Junkrat isn't as good. It's like, why play Junkrat when you can play Flying Junkrat? So, I think Junkrat's okay. I don't think he's bad, but I don't think I can even not. I don't even think I could bump him into B because of how strong Pharah is, in my opinion. So Junkrat's gonna get a C tier. D.Va, I'm actually gonna throw in the S tier. I actually think D.Va is insanely strong. Here's why. First off, if you ban Zarya, your biggest worry tank-wise is out of the game, and you don't have to really play around that. Now you could still absolutely play against a Zarya's D.Va. I want to make that so clear. Just by being distant and using high ground. But if she's out of the game, you don't even have to worry about that. You can really kind of play your most aggro, going all in type of play style, risk free. You still have some tanks that could give you trouble, like a good Doomfist chasing or a good Sigma to deny you value, but I think those are much more relaxing options than a Zarya player just beaming you down and holding W. So I think D.Va is really strong. I think her perks have really helped a ton. The shield perk has really, I think, helped with her survivability. They also buffed her minor perk to combine the old two, and then they gave her a new one where when you boost into someone, you get an extra half second of boost. It's kind of fun to use. But yeah, just honestly, hero bans I think help. If you get Zarya out of the game, I think D.Va low-key is one of the best tanks on the field. So, now granted, there is Ball, so maybe not quite the best, but definitely one of the best. I think D.Va is just insane, though. I think D.Va is really, really good. So, I'm going to give her S tier. Mei? An A. I give an A for Mei. I think Mei's pretty strong. I think that the freeze major perk isn't as scary as I was originally worried about. It does take a bit to freeze someone, and it doesn't last too long. But it can be really good though, and it can be kind of fun to use, low key. But yeah, I think Mei, just just kind of a safe A tier for me. It's really all about how you use the wall, the wall can be really great at isolating people and killing them, especially tanks. Um, she has good survivability. She actually has decent damage output if you hit right clicks. Her ult is still a huge game changer, so yeah, I give her A. Um, as far as why she isn't like maybe meta or higher, I think it's just because other DPS are just kind of have a bit more power creep, I guess, than she does. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's probably what I'd say. Genji. Genji's gonna get like a high B. I want to put Genji in A because I actually see quite a bit of Genji, but I do have to think about what makes Genji great, and it is enabling. If he has a Ana player that will stay on him consistently, or a pocket from like maybe a Mercy, um, or if they're running a dive comp, he really truly shines. He feels like an S tier. He feels unstoppable. He's constantly killing your backline. He's giving you trouble. But if that isn't the case, um, also I'm just rethinking about the Torb versus Genji matchup. It might be a bit more even than I made it seem. Just kind of go back on that, but it's probably even though. Anywho, I'm gonna give Genji like a high B. I think that he is really good. I do still think though that he does require a bit of help to truly pop off. I just think about the fact, for example, that his ultimate, while it can be good, Dry Blade in of itself still doesn't do as much damage as other abilities do. Like even. And furthermore, Genji's perks are okay, but rather than improving his lethality, they just kind of improve his sustainability. Like, they make him a little tanky. And Genji's already, like, 250 HP. He's not squishy. Like, that squishy. See, I'm gonna give Genji a B. I think he's pretty good, but I just think he could be a bit better if we're trying to think of him being, like, an S tier or an A tier pick. So... I'll go on ahead and jump to the next hero, which is Ana, and that's an easy S tier. Ana, I think, is still the best support in the game. Even though they have nerfed her a little bit, her perks are just still insane. Self-nano, double bounce, the sleep one is good. The one that I probably don't see a lot is critical headshots on primary fire, but that could still go ham if you pick it. But self-nano is just probably way better. Or easier to get value on. But yeah, Ana just Ana's just fantastic. Like, she works well with a lot of comps, because she can enable dive with range and LOS. She's not necessarily a brawl support, but you can enable your brawl heroes, and then obviously she can do poke. She has range, so I think that Ana is probably the support that gets banned the most, just because of how impactful her util is. But, I wouldn't say she's like S plus anymore. She is like S though, and definitely the best. But the nerfs to her cooldowns, like both them being 14 seconds, that does hurt her a bit. And when she doesn't have them, she definitely needs help to keep up. But I think that a really good Ana player is gonna manage them just fine still. Sombra. So here's the funny thing with Sombra. She gets permaban. This is the permaban hero. Everybody bans Sombra. People cannot stand this hero. I get it. She's annoying. She probably has the best ult in the entire game, being able to cancel other people's ults. I don't think she's that crazy. She's going to get like a B tier, like a high B, but I don't think she's that insane. I think that people honestly just don't like playing against Sombra, which, hey, I get it. Like, if you're a dive tank like Ball or Doom, you hate Sombra. Hazard, you also hate Sombra. And if even other tanks like Ram, I think Mauga even, because you can EMP his cage, you hate Sombra. If you're a support player, you probably also hate Sombra. If you play like Zen or even someone like Mercy or Juno or Moira. Even though Moira's okay against Sombra, if she times your fate, you're kind of cooked. So, alright. Live Blue, or We're almost there. We're halfway there. So yeah, I think that Sombra is she's pretty good. Like, you know, all things considered, um, she can absolutely do work to backlines and tanks, and EMP again is the best ult in the game, in my opinion. I think that her perks are a little better, the ones that they added, but I don't think they're that crazy. Like the virus spread, I don't think is as insane, but it can give you value. And I still like the one where like you hack and you heal. Like I do like that one. That one's kind of funny, like healer Sombra. But yeah, she still can be lethal, but she is also very squishy herself, and she obviously doesn't have perma invis. She hasn't had it for some time, so dealing with her is totally different than before. But yeah, I do think it's very interesting. It's been very interesting seeing her be perma banned. I barely see Sombra in any of my games, so maybe you like that, maybe you don't, but that is definitely a thing. Orisa, highest end of B. I want to give her A, but I think I'm gonna give her like a really high B. I think Orisa is honestly very very good and borderline like strong. Like she has great sustain, and they did buff her damage to left click, but I think that Orisa just hasn't crept into that level of power yet. Like her power creep hasn't gotten to the point yet where she is strong, and then eventually usually would become meta. Um, but again, things are different though, with bans and such and perks. But anywho, yeah, Orisa, you know, she has great perks, and she has great survivability and sustain, and she does good damage output, and good cooldowns. So a really good Orisa is probably gonna get the job done most of the time, but I just don't think that she's quite like she just hasn't ascended higher up yet. Sometimes it's not even so much of the hero is good or bad, it's just kind of what is the meta. And the meta is kind of a fair amount of like it feels like it's a fair amount of brawl or like a bit of dive. It's not a whole lot of poke. When we get to poke, if we do, I think Orisa will go up then. So I'm gonna give her high B. I still think she's really really good though. Doomfist, he's good. I actually think Doom's kind of good. I'm gonna give him like a mid B. I actually don't think he's bad or even like situational. I think that ever since they gave him the perk where he can absorb projectiles with his block, that major perk, he's actually had so much more counterplay to heroes like Ana and Orisa, and and so forth and so forth. I actually think that he's gotten much better. Doom does still require a lot of precision. He's a very hard hero to play and get value on for sure. The amount of effort you have to put in to get value on Doom, you can reduce that by probably less than half or less even. If you play someone like Zarya or Orisa or even like Ramattra. But I do still think that Doom is a good tank. I actually think he's in a okay spot, all things considered. The only thing though is that Doom does suffer a lot to CC, so if you do CC the life out of him, he probably will fall over at some point, unless you're a god tier Doomfist player. Moira, I don't really got a whole lot for Moira. She's good, just B tier. Menace in the metal ranks, not as good in the higher ranks. She has decent perks, she has decent survivability, decent heals, decent damage. It's just kind of like, honestly, the run-of-the-mill good B tier support. I think she's pretty good. Don't got a whole lot for her. Brig? I think Brig is great. I think Brig is strong, but she is a little, as far as her most peak value, it is a bit dependent on the comp. Like, Ana Brig or Juno Brig will go ham. Great backline. If that isn't the case, if you're doing like Brig Mercy or like Brig Lifeweaver or ERE Brig, it's probably not going to go as well. Brig Lucio, probably not going to go as well. But Brig, even when it's not her meta, is still just such a strong hero. Rally is a great ult. Her perks are really good at helping keep the Inspire uptime going, which is huge. Brig is very good at surviving. She's very good at protecting her other support. She works really well in that protector role. Now, you do not play her like a Rhine. If you play her like a Rhine, you get rolled. But if you play her in the back, constantly booping dive away with your mace, you're quite a threat. Quite a threat. So I think she's strong. I think she's an A tier. All right. So speaking of Ball, we're finally at him. I think he's the best tank in the game. He's probably the best tank in the game, maybe the best hero in the game, if not for Sojourn. I think that Ball is insane. And now here's the kicker, the catch with Ball is you really won't see him a lot in your metal ranks. It's really higher ranks where Ball is a menace. What makes Ball so insane is his survivability. He's already really hard to kill. Like good ball players just really get away so fast and are so hard to deal with. But that minor perk where he gets an extra 100 health on collecting packs, the pack rat perk, it makes him insanely good at surviving. Because you think of the difference, like an extra 100 health, what's the big deal? That could be the difference between him getting his armor and his shields, or just staying at base health and getting killed. Because armor and shields are so huge to survivability, especially on dive tanks. So, give me 1 second. Sorry, I'm gonna mute my mic really quick for this.
And all of that. Thank you for streaming. Thank you, friends. Good to see you. Be safe. I'll let y'all know when I land. All right. It's only like a couple hours.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm alive now. But yeah, Ball. On top of that, he's really good at disrupting backlines, going after, DPS that might be playing off angles. Minefield is great for making space. Adaptive Shield is still just such a huge ability, both for survivability as well as enabling teammates. Um, Obviously he has great mobility. That's, a no-brainer. Yeah, Ball is just insane, and Ball is still popping up. He's been popping off actually even since last season, and he's still been popping off in the high ranks. So yeah, Ball, really really good. Gonna give him that high S tier. Ash. Ash is an interesting one for me. I think she's strong, but how strong do I think she is? I think she's good, but is she crazy good? I'll give her like a high A, mid high A above Cass. But yeah, Ash, it's a bit of an interesting one. I think that she's really good hit scan. I think that she, obviously has great survivability with Coach Gun and can get to high ground with it too. And then you got Bob, great ult as always. I'm not a lot familiar on her perks, I'll be completely honest. I just don't play a lot of Ash. But yeah, Ash I think has always been kind of just very much a coasting, a hero that coasts in the A tier. I think she's strong, but I don't think she's like um, too crazy. So I will give her the A tier, and I'll kind of just probably leave it at that. Strong hero. Okay, another spicy hot take. I'm gonna throw BAP in the S tier. I'm gonna throw BAP in the S tier. It's a bit of a low S, and it is a bit of a stretch, but I actually think BAP, in the right circumstances, is very insanely good. So they buffed BAP first off, where he does more overall healing. So his healing hits much more, though he does have a little less ammo. Good BAP players, I think, still manage it just fine. But his healing is better. His perks are still really, really good in my experience. Um, and obviously Window still goes far. Being able to jump to high ground with rocket boots is still good. His damage output is still really good. I think that BAP, is just a very strong hero. Like just overall, he can do the DPS and the high heals, and a little bit of mobility to add to it. And then obviously Lamp. I mean, shoot, we haven't even talked about Lamp being just such a huge cooldown there. I will say though with BAP is that if it doesn't work, um, from what I've also seen playing against some BAPs, they usually will tend to swap, but it's usually to like Ana or some other stronger support like Ana or maybe even Kiri. But I think Bap is honestly worthy enough of a low S. I think that his abilities and the buff to his healing to where he does so much more, I think is enough to just, for me, get him into that S tier, but the low S. I think Bap's actually just insanely good. In the right hands too. Sigma, high end of A. Um, just a safe tank to pick is always strong, is always really good with his cooldowns, has really good maps. Again, kind of a hero I don't really have to talk a whole lot about because Sigma is a bit self explanatory. He's just always been really good. He's never been bad, and he's not bad here either. He's a really good pick, so the May tier. Echo. This might be another hot take. I'm going to throw Echo into the S tier. And I know Echo is hard to play, and I know hit scan is really good, but I think Echo absolutely has that potential to turn a game around or to take it over. She's a great duelist. Her mobility is really huge. She had that buff where she has shields now, so she can survive easier. And then you have Copy. You also just have her, you know, ability to play in multiple comps. Um, I think Echo is actually really good. She's also one of those heroes that doesn't even need a pocket, but obviously if you have a pocket, it only helps you. I just think Echo's so good. I just think she's very good. Insanely good at that. So it's a bit of a lower S, probably like Tor, but I think it's I'm gonna give her the S tier as well. Speaking of S tier, Sojourn. I mean, is there much else I need to say about Sojourn? Sojourn is just incredibly strong. The rail hits like a freight train. Overclock does wonders and work. Mobility is really good. Damage is really good. Perks are really good. Abilities are really good. She can play in any comp. She's always been strong. If you hit your shots, you're gonna take over games. I mean, do I really need to say more? Sojourn is just busted. I don't usually like try to complain, and I'm not necessarily trying to be like a complainer, but I'm just speaking the fact she's busted. She's been busted arguably since the release of Overwatch 2. She had a brief period where she wasn't that good, where she was okay when they nerfed Rail, but they've buffed Rail, and yeah, as you can see, she's dominating. So anywho, I think it's tamed down a little bit this season. I don't think I'm seeing as much like Sojourn v Sojourn, where it's like whoever has the better Sojourn just wins. But she is still like S tier, easy. Next up is Junker Queen. I think Junker Queen is pretty good. I think she's pretty good. I'm gonna give her a B tier as well. I think that her perks really shine. Like getting 100% lifesteal with your Carnage, I think is huge. And I also think that Queen is a really great rush. She's not just really fun, but she's really great rush. And if you have the comp built around you, you can absolutely dominate. I think really good Queen players can do so much work and can deliver so much value for a team. I think the thing that keeps Queen a little under the other tanks and those tiers is that she does have certain matchups where she just kind of gets outranked. Orisa is a really tough one. Zarya is really tough. Even Ramattra is a bit tough. And Roadhog can even get Queen some troubles too. So, in certain tank v tank matchups, she just kind of struggles a bit more. But even then, if she has the right comp and she's a really good Queen player, she could still do really well. I think she's that good, and I think that her uptime is insane if you hit your abilities. Kiri S. I mean, I probably don't need to say a whole lot. It's not even that Kiri's like that super insane, but she's just really good when Ana's good because a lot of people will bring out Kiri to kind of have an equalizer for all the purple nades or so forth and so forth. She also plays really well with Ana. But, I mean, Kiri, what else do I need to say? Great heals, great damage, works in a lot of comps. Probably the best supportal in the game still. In Kitsune, I would have said Ray previously, but Ray has been nerfed a good amount, so Kitsune takes over again, in my opinion. And Kiri, also has great survivability. So, yeah, you give her S tier. Little under Anna, but she's pretty strong. Another hero I'm actually going to throw in the S tier as well, and I'm really happy to do this. My boy Ramatra. I'm throwing Ramatra in the S tier, and I might be cooking, like, not cooking, but like this tier list might be cooked. Um, but I'm having a little fun with it, and I think Ramatra is actually really good. I think that things that have really helped is the fact that Mauga isn't as good, because Mauga's like the roughest matchup for Ramatra. I also think that Brawl, like when it comes to brawling, I think Ramatra is the most straightforward, like, good tank for Brawl. Because he's good into Rhine, um, and I think that Orissa's a bit tough, but he can play into Orisa. I think he can play into Hog. He's good against Sigma. He can fight against Zarya. He can do okay against Diva. But also with Ramatra, he has great ult, he has great survivability, with a ton of armor, and that damage reduction. I mean, obviously, if you play Block Simulator, it can be a little rough, but he is very hard to kill in that case. And I also think that Ramatra has very good perks to make his poke better and even make his survivability a little more better. Um, I think that Ramatra is just very accessible too. So I actually think this is a really good season to play some Ram. And if you need to ban one of the people that gives you trouble, you can ban Mauga, and you're in a pretty good spot. Or you could ban Zen. Banning Zen would help too. Ironic given their history, but yeah, I think Ram's actually really damn strong. So I'm gonna give him that S tier, low S, but S tier. Life Weaver. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna keep Life Weaver in D tier. I don't think that he's as bad before the buffs. I think he's a little bit better, but it's just buffing the numbers. Endless buffs to Life Weaver, you know, 10 buffs for Life Weaver, 20 buffs for Life Weaver. I really don't know at this point. Like, there's only, I think, so many number buffs you can give a character before they break. And Life Weaver, unfortunately, he's just a character that he's not bad to play. Like, he actually feels kind of fun. Like, I actually think he's kind of fun. I just don't think he's good. um, I think there's only so many buffs you can give a character though before it just really kind of it just like I don't know. There's a point where it's just really not going to help that much until they break, until you really hit the break point. And Life Weaver, I think, is one of those heroes. He just does a lot of healing and he's tanky, and that's really his whole shtick. I think one thing that could honestly help is make some of his perks base kit. Make Life Grip that make Life Grip cleanse your abilities as a base kit feature. That alone, I think, would bump him to C, and I don't think I would put him back in D tier. Um, Heck, maybe even the one where when you dash, you get a little extra healing. That would probably bump into high C, maybe low B, in my opinion. Now, however, the issue though is if you keep buffing and buffing and buffing, at what point is he going to become insane? We haven't hit that. I don't know if we will, but yeah, Life Weaver just isn't that good. Another hero I actually don't think is that good though is Iari. I'll be so real with you, I don't see Iari at all. I barely see this hero, and when I do, she actually has so minimal impact. It's kind of crazy. Like, I've never put Iari this low on a tier list. Like, she came out, and she was insanely strong. She got a lot of nerfs, and she kind of just became meh, but wasn't terrible. Then she had a brief resurgence where she was meta again, and she kind of got brought back down to earth. Currently, Iari, I don't know what it is. She just really isn't good. The pylon, if people just know how to break it really quickly. The pylon, it doesn't even do that much, I feel. And so Yari, what you're left with is kind of like just lackluster heals, sort of, and more so lackluster damage on your left click, which the damage might need to stay that way, because if Yari does so much damage, she becomes a very tough hero to go against, like an extra DPS. But some characters can be like that sometimes. So I'm curious as to what they'll need to shift to make her better, or if it's just a casualty of the current meta. But yeah, I do not think that ERE um, is really that good. And I think that ERE is also like, when you force her shift out, she's very easy to kill. I sorry, I'm brain farting because I've been talking so much, but I'm almost done. Yeah, Yari, I just think just does not have a lot of impact this season. I think that she gets outclassed by a lot of the supports. The only one I think she can maybe like probably be more value than is maybe Life Weaver, but yeah, I'm gonna give Yari a D tier this season. Malga, C tier. I don't think Malga's like terrible. I actually don't. But I do think he's fallen off quite a bit. I don't think he's really that good. Um, Particularly because of just a number of things. One is he's been nerfed quite a bit. I think not even necessarily with the nerfs being so heavy, but the fact he's just been nerfed a lot has made him kind of fall out of favor with players, except maybe Malga mains or people that just want to blow up Roadhog or Ramatra. Um, the second thing is I will think, Anna's still really insanely good, and she really gives Malga a hard time. If Anna isn't banned, Malga really struggles, even if he has like a Kiri with him. But also, there are still those tanks that will just give him trouble. Like Diva gives him trouble, so does Sigma, so does Orisa. So Malga is very dealable. And then honestly, the armor nerf from Season 14 to give him less armor makes him much more squishier. If he doesn't have his cardiac and he just loses that little bit of armor, he blows up like super quickly. So it's it's a bit of a tough spot for Malga. I don't think he's terrible. I think he will probably get a little better over time after the nerfs kind of like settle. But I think Malga is a bit of a tough shout right now. He's going to be a situational pick in my opinion. Next up is Venture, and Venture I'm gonna give like a B, like a solid B. I think Venture's pretty good. Venture is really good at all-inning certain heroes, going after them. Venture also is good, kind of hybrid brawl dive. Um, they have good survivability, so they're able to live quite long, and they're flexible. They're just they're an honest, fair, and fun hero. So I think Venture will go smack dab in the solid B tier. The next hero I'm actually going to throw into the S tier. The last one I should say is going to be Juno. Juno is going to jump into the S tier. I actually think that Juno is really dang strong, and I know that her healing doesn't feel great with left click, but her torpedoes, her perks, her ult is still good but not crazy. The mobility, it's really the perks, the torpedoes, and the mobility and the survivability, I think, that keep Juno in a really high spot. And so I'm actually going to keep Juno in the S tier. And also, you know what? Maybe the mythic buff. The mythic skin buff, we haven't talked about that in a while. She got a mythic skin this season, in season 16. So I think that's also keeping her played a lot. So we're going to keep her in the S tier. It's a bit of a low S, but I actually think that she's still insanely strong. It's just that, it's a little harder to kind of get the most value out of her. Next up is Hazard. Lowest end of A. I'm going to give him a low A. I think Hazard is quite strong, but it comes from his ability to kill the backline and solo DPS. His kill potential is very high. That's what really kind of carries him. Um, and he is a bit of a jack of all trades kind of tank. Like, he can do a little poke, he can do some brawl, he can mostly do dive. Tank v tank matchups are not really favorable for Hazard, except for a couple. So it really is his ability to delete backlines that makes him so high. If you hit your combos, you actually feel like a cheat code a little bit, and you can do some real damage. I'm trying to keep bias out of it, though, as you don't know, I'm a Hazard player, so excuse me. He's going to get the A tier, but a very low one. And finally, last but not least, our newest hero, Freya. Throw in the A tier. I actually think Freya's pretty damn strong. She's pretty damn strong. Freya does have a high skill ceiling, though. You have to be able to hit shots, and if you cannot hit shots, you're going to struggle. But Freya has great mobility. She has insanely good poke damage with her right click aim down sights bows. Um, she gets her ult really fast. It can be good. It's not that crazy, but it can be good. And with how much you get it, you have potential to always make a play. I think her perks are also very helpful too. She rewards, again, really good aim. The one thing that she struggles with is she's very squishy. She's only 225 HP, and if you don't have any drafts, you will die. Like, instantly. She is very squishy, but she's very, very good. I think she's very lethal, and that to me is going to give her the A tier as opposed to a high B, which I usually would give most new heroes because they're, released on the safe side of strong, as you know. But yeah, with that being said, that is the tier list. I'm trying to make sure if there was anything else I wanted to mop up. I think I'll put Iyari above Lifeweaver. I'll put Bap above Juno, I think. Or maybe actually let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do that. Kind of a big change I'm making, but we'll do that. You know what? I'm gonna put Hog above Sigma. Maybe get spicy with this a little bit. What else do I want to do? I think I feel pretty good about this. I might put Cass above Freya. This feels a little better. Okay, I think that's the oh, and of course Sojourn above. I mean, Sojourn is busted, but Tracer like has probably a higher skill expression. No, we'll keep Tracer above Sojourn. All right, that's the list. So that is the tier list. I've been talking and yapping for probably close to an hour. So again, thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. If you have any thoughts of your own on who you think goes where, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season evolves and what continues to shift. With that being said, have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you on the next one. Cheers.